because, I'm a page admin.
Fascinating.
But it is in the description.
You know what?
I don't. Did you break something?
I don't either. Nah.
Great.
It's just
you already broke it?
We're already live. Stupid Switch. You know that thing that has like this auto start switch that says don't auto start yet? Well, it auto started anyway.
Good.
Hi everyone. Like we're just setting up. We thought we'd do the pre-live before we go live. We're just trying to be smart here, but
Is that right?
Yeah, like I think enable auto start is switched off. But anyway.
You think maybe it's
no, it definitely is. Definitely is.
No, see, LinkedIn public URL is linkedin.com/company/365MCS.
There you go. Well, that works. Okay, well then I'll just follow us on socials. Twitch.
365.
Not Twitch. We're not on Twitch. What are we talking about?
Twitch.
So follow us on.
It is company instead of N.
Socials.
N. It's not N.
Yeah. So what do you think, everyone? Is this great for the pre-live entertainment? Hey, Joanne. And
we are
Heidi as well. Yeah, we're totally live. But we've got 1 minute to go. Okay, if that's all right.
Okay.
Just give us a minute. We need like some sort of orchestral overture that happens nicely in the background. Kind of like in between Oscar awards.
I just got a notification I'm now a moderator for the channel. So it's going to give me the little thing when you did the thing. You know the thing?
Yeah, we did that. We did that thing when I got you to share your Google account.
I remember this. Heidi, for some reason, your name is not HIE. I just want to let you know, just in case you didn't know.
Tony, you're right. How very, very observant of you. I switched devices recently with what's capturing my camera, and it seems to give me this attention-grabbing shadow. So I'll have to fix that after the show. Oh, we're at 6. Should we do it?
Go ahead and push the button, Darrell. Let's do it.
I'll do that. Okay. See you soon, everyone. Who's doing the welcome? Do you want to do it? I'll do it.
Oh, sure. I'll do it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's 365 Message Center Show. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. This is number 213, I believe. And today we have got some interesting updates for you. One is Power BI is coming at you in Teams, whether you like it or not. And the title for us, the headline for us is Viva Learning is coming to general availability with a twist, an unexpected twist. Yes. And then we're going to do a callback. We're going to look at something in SharePoint. I won't give it away just yet.
But not yet.
Not yet.
No. But hey, this is good. I'm looking forward to getting into some of the details in the show. To be honest, I don't know about you, but I know about you, Daniel, because we had a chat about the content for the show. But everyone else, did you feel like the show was the message center was a little empty? There was a few here and there, a whole lot of updated messages like we normally see. And I went looking to the blogs to see what was coming. And we do have one message in there that kind of addresses blog bits and pieces from Microsoft 365. But other than that, it was very, I don't know, empty-ish. Aren't we always on time? Darrell's time.
No, on Darrell's time. Yeah.
Huh.
Comment. Yes.
Yeah, look, see, this is the thing now. See, Daniel used to pass little notes through to the people in the chat while I was busy talking, and I wouldn't see them until after the show, and then we'd get into it. But now I can show his note passing. Fun. Hey, Phil, how you doing? Right, so enough of that. Let's get into that first message, which was about Viva Learning.
Viva Learning.
Do we have to get the Elvis thing every time?
Yes.
Okay, of course. They chose the name, so Daniel's got it.
Indeed.
Hey, look, Viva Learning preview moving to general availability, MC 287943. Just a quick question on the chat there. How many people are or have been on Viva Learning preview? Do you remember, Daniel, when they put it out in the blog to say, we're opening it up for public preview, sign up here? What happened?
It quickly closed.
Yeah, how quickly?
Very quickly.
Yeah, it filled up very quickly. So if you did manage to get on the preview and see a few things, then you were lucky. For me, I think I found a back door through to it. I was a bit lucky. Yeah, anyway, so there's stuff that's being talked about here in the message, which is a little different to what you might see in your message. We did do a comparison between Daniel's message about Viva Learning and mine. I've been on the preview, so there's a few things in this message that talk about what I should consider as maybe my organization's been using it. And let's point that out. But first of all, as part of the launch, your organization will shift from preview to the full free version of Viva Learning. There it is, people. Viva Learning will be free. Is that a good thing, Daniel?
Yes. Question mark. It is. It is a good thing. Yes. It allows, and it is detailed here in the message. It does allow access to some Microsoft Learn courses, to the Microsoft 365 training, which you may have been accessing through. There's a couple ways to access that currently. And so, yes, you're going to have access that in here that you may not know that you have access to, or additional access, right, to 125 new courses, for instance, in this limited training courses from LinkedIn.
I don't know how much I can talk about it, so I'm just going to be safe and not talk about the experience. But I took Daniel through because he's under a DNDA, which is Darrell NDA, and he will keep his mouth quiet. Anyway, the experience, you've seen it in demo. It's about being able to look up learning material and experience that within Microsoft Teams. Being able to suggest content for people to participate in. And if you have a managerial kind of role, or maybe you want to take responsibility for marshalling people's learning around a certain piece of content, learning content, then you can do that within Teams too. Really interesting to see that, yes, they are making it free, but there is a premium version. And let's just get to that other point I was making. If you have been on the preview, and again, it was quite quickly filled up, but if you've been on the preview, you've started using the courses, you've had discussions and things like that, there is a warning here that when it does go GA, you need to add Viva Learning Premium or a trial within 3 days of GA, within 3 days of general availability in early November, or all of your user data collected during the preview period will be deleted. Yowzers. Daniel.
Yowzers indeed. And so just to be clear, if you have not signed up, you won't see that in this message, which is kind of cool. So they are targeting this message, depending on if you've had it. So yes, 3 days is all you get after GA to sign up, or you lose. The problem I see with this, people, is when is GA?
Yeah.
We don't have an exact date. So will you get a notification? Maybe, but don't know. So this is something definitely to watch if you've got data already.
Definitely. Now, Phil's got a good question too. One of the sources for learning content is supposed to be SharePoint, in that you can nominate and say, I want this site collection. It is that. I want this site collection to be a source for learning content. You drop all your content in there. Perhaps you could drop in M365 learning pathways, and maybe that's where you've been creating your additional content alongside your learning content. It's not mentioned here, is it, Phil? So good question. Fair enough. I think that we need to hear more about that. Maybe knock on the door behind the scenes and perhaps ask them to edit the message and explain or add that to it if it's relevant. But let's just finish this message off and keep moving on. It will begin rolling out late October and be complete by mid-November. Taking Daniel's point, maybe we need to just keep looking daily to see if it's there. How do you do that? I think you have to go back in and see if your preview icon changes to just Viva Learning. I don't know.
Yeah, or you could go into licensing and see if you can buy a license or sign up for a trial. But yeah, that's because they haven't told us they're going to notify us in some way.
No,
I would think they would, but yeah.
Okay, Daniel, tell us about Power BI bits and pieces.
Specific, like the whole service, or just the specific?
Yeah, the whole service.
Oh, okay. So Power BI is a configuration change. Power BI app for Microsoft Teams, automatic installation and availability for government customers. MC 288054. So this one is talking about how Microsoft is going to automatically install the Power BI app into Microsoft Teams. And this will be done for the rollout is early November through late December. Okay. And this will work in this way. So you have the Power BI app for Teams is allowed. So you can go in and say it's not allowed in Microsoft Teams. So if it's allowed and the tenant setting for installing that is enabled, and the user that is we're talking about has a license for Microsoft Teams, not Power BI, Teams. And then the last thing is the user goes to the Power BI service in the web browser. So they go to powerbi.com. Then, and only then, will it automatically install the Power BI app in Teams. So I'm guessing they're going to be pushing through the browser saying, "Hey, Teams, install this app for you." And it talks about you are going to get a notification in the in Power BI service on the website that'll let you know in the notification pane that this is happening. Now, it is only for users that go to the Power BI service for the first time. So new users. And in the future, Microsoft will expand this so it'll be for all users. Now, how they handle issues like, for instance, Power BI app is already installed in Teams. What does that look like? We don't know yet. But this is the auto install process that's going to happen. Like I said before, to opt out, basically to turn this off, you can go to the Power BI admin portal settings and disable the app. You can go into Teams and turn that off as well, so that it does not allow the install to happen. So, and there's some wonderful additional links down there for you to read. Would advise you to do that depending upon your situation for your government cloud. So, yes, Joanne, it is for government, as the title states. So anybody that is saying, wait a minute, I've seen that Power BI app. You probably have, but this is for government. And do you have any other thoughts on that, Darrell?
Not really.
It is kind of a focused update here.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
I mean, in reading those two comments, I started to get a bit confused, thinking, is this a message that's really just pertaining to GCC High, or is it for everyone? Is that it? Like, it's only going to be automatically installed for people in GCC?
That is what we're being told. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Moving on to yes, this. So sometimes we have frequently we have a message here from
monthly. Almost.
Yeah, a monthly updates available for Microsoft 365 apps for current channel. You remember what current channel is? It's if you are getting your updates to Microsoft 365 applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Teams, among other things, then that's what it's referring to. And so many of us probably don't bother to check that. We just go, oh yeah, okay, more updates. I do encourage you to occasionally click into current channel and go and explore what this is referring to, because you might find there's some things you want to know about. Here's the list of updates in Teams, for example, and work your way through. We won't call out each of them here, but there's features like the news anchor for presentation layer on PPT or PowerPoint. Q&A, you can add that app now to meetings and start a Q&A. But I started to read this out, Daniel, saying you can do this, you can do that. Is that true of everything in this list?
Well, no, you have to remember what this is talking. So this is all of those Teams desktop updates. They said they're going to be delivering. Well, Teams has to be updated for you to get those updates. And if you'll remember, we talked about this on the show before. Teams is now following Office updates. These updates that we're talking about, looking at here. So we're going to see these more and more. I would assume that Teams is probably going to dominate this list from now on because there's so many things coming. So you have to update. Teams has to be updated for this to happen, for you to get those releases. So if you haven't updated Teams, then you don't have these updates, and therefore you can't go and say, oh, well, this is awesome. I know Darrell and Daniel talked about content from camera, meaning you can have a second camera pointed at a whiteboard or at a document and show that off. It's fantastic, but I don't see it. Well, Teams is not updated. So I have to be aware of that. There's other updates in this other than Teams, but Teams is dominating this list.
Yeah, definitely. I think too that there are updates in this that's mentioned that are going to be available in the Teams desktop experience, but aren't yet available in the service. There was something in here. Pin a chat message. Now I know we can pin a chat message today, but it's a different kind of pin. We pin it. It's sitting in an information panel, but we know, in fact, from a recent blog post, the true pinning, where you can see a message at the top of your conversation channel, is coming very shortly, and that's what I would say this is about. But it's not there yet. Probably not for everyone. Indeed. So enough of that. But I just wanted to take an opportunity, and I do this occasionally, to point us through to that message, because there are some interesting things that do come through when you have an update to your current channel for Microsoft Office. Anyway, back to it, Daniel.
Yes, this next one actually was in our quick mentions listing, but decided to move it up because we wanted to have a conversation about it. So this one it's been updated since it was announced this past week. Upcoming changes to Auto Expanding Archive, MC 288051. And this, again, they have updated it the day after it was released, just to give you an idea, some clarification here. But what this is talking about is Microsoft has had this unlimited, and I put quotes, air quotes here, but there was no quotes. It was called unlimited archive for your boxes, your mailboxes. But beginning November 1st, across the board, they're removing that. It's not unlimited anymore. And we'll talk about maybe why here in a second, but there will be a 1.5 terabyte limit for archive mailboxes. Now, that's a pretty large amount. So just know that that is a limit and it's not configurable. So don't try it. There is no configuration to be done here. And the other limit is there is a 1 gig per day for your archive to grow. So if you try to add more than 1 gig to that auto archive, to that archive, then it will not happen. You'll actually get an error. And so there used to be exceptions. And if you've worked out an exception in the past, then those exceptions will not be affected by this. So if you've contacted Microsoft support and worked it out with them, then you're fine, but you won't be able to grow anymore, I believe. But that's not specifically stated here. You won't be able to create new archives. So if you have archives that are already created and beyond this 1.5 terabytes, okay, but any new ones, they will not be able to exceed it. Don't ask, so that won't happen. So Darrell, does this remind you of any instances in the past where cloud, and this isn't just Microsoft Cloud, but other cloud services too, clouds that have had unlimited things and then taken it back?
Yeah, I think we saw this maybe in the early days of OneDrive. We've also seen Google Photo and other services like that. It's interesting, as time has gone on, actually storage is quite a difficult thing to manage as people start to pile onto a service. I think this is in response. I think it affects other services and other things within the Microsoft Cloud as well. Like we've seen a massive uptake in all sorts of Microsoft 365 services, Microsoft Teams and the like too. Storage for meeting recordings, another thing that we have mentioned on the show where they've had to instigate this auto expiry, which, you've got to tweak that for your own organizational needs. But it's like they're trying to claw back some of that unlimited storage because it's actually difficult to keep up with now.
Indeed. I believe there was one case, and I won't tell you specifically what product group or the features or anything like that, but I had a conversation with a product owner in Microsoft who basically said they had done some features or whatever. They had given too much. And it was really driven by marketing initially. And they just kind of made the decision. And then once it started getting used, it was like, oh, wait a minute, we've got to pull some of this back. So that's what this message is about. November 1st is your date. And you're going to have to get on it, because if you're using this in a way that is getting you way beyond this, maybe you're, dare I say, abusing what this was really intended to be, then you're going to have to find a different way for you to store in the cloud. So that's what is coming. So I think we are moving on to an actual quick mention. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we have one quick mention. So let's make it super quick.
Yes. And that one could have been a quick mention as well, like I said before, but we figured we should have a conversation. This one is OneDrive and SharePoint, improved move/copy user experience, MC288642. And this, I will go ahead and say, does not fix my major complaint with move copy in OneDrive and SharePoint. I have two complaints, but this one is something that I think has needed improvement. So rolling out targeted release mid-October and will complete mid-November for standard release. So it's a pretty quick change about. They're going to take the move and copy function from the pop-out pane over on the side of the page when you select something to what we are seeing as to be a pop-out or pop-up kind of dialogue for you to go through, select where you want to move it to, both from a site perspective and from folder perspective over on the right hand side, as we're showing you here on the screen. There's going to be nothing, no functionality is going to be impacted here. So it's not an issue of any of the functionality changing. It's just the look. And my biggest complaint about the whole experience is the whole graph experience of presenting what sites I want to move or copy to is based upon usage and favoriting and all of that. Sometimes I can't find the site anywhere in there, but in that quick access.
Do you have access to this at the moment? Has it appeared anywhere that you can touch it?
I do not yet have that dialogue.
So I think our wondering is, yeah, you're right. Like quick access. These are the sites that I supposedly have accessed recently. I do find across all sorts of different environments, I get sites suggested that I haven't visited. But we're wondering whether there's an easy way to just whack in a site that we actually just want to
search.
Maybe we haven't used it for 6 months, but we're starting to. We're returning to that project or that client or whatever again.
Yeah.
And we want to just go in and find it. Do we really have to go to the site and visit it and wait for Graph to make it appear here? Or can we do this directly from OneDrive?
Darrell,
that would be cool. What?
You just switched this from a quick mention to a regular message.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah. Let's
Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, people. It happens.
It does.
It does. Let's then go to our callback, which is our section where we talk about stuff that has arrived and we can show you and we can talk about it and discuss with you in the chat. So let's cut over to Daniel live on the spot from his desktop. Get rid of that one.
Yeah, so this message is SharePoint collapsible sections, MC266077. And this is something we've talked about previously. That's why we are doing it as a callback, bringing collapsible sections to SharePoint pages. So when we talked about this, yes, go watch that episode because there were some gotchas, I think, that you need to make sure you train your users properly on how to use this. And I won't cover all those now. I will just talk about the, show you how to use this and how it can be used effectively. So Darrell is going to show my screen on the screen for those on the video. I have a SharePoint page. It's all about branding here at Contoso. So you can see wonderful stuff, but I wanted to add a frequently asked questions, which I think is actually a really good target for this functionality. So I have already, actually, I'm going to edit this page, added a few sections already to my branding facts here. So I have added 3 collapsible sections already. So I'm going to add a 4th just to show you how to do this. So I'm going to go on the side and say I'm going to add a 1 section, and then I'm going to edit this wonderful section. And I want it to be what I'm doing here with the facts. I'm doing alternating colors. So I've done a white background, blue background, white background. And for those that have been in school, you can see this pattern. It needs to be a dark background. I'm going to make this a collapsible section right here at the bottom. This is basically my title that can be seen when it's not, when it's collapsed and not expanded. Speaking of which, I want to make sure that it's not expanded down here by default. And then I'm going to put in the text web part that I want to have to kind of give that answer. Again, this is the frequently asked questions, so I want that to be there. And so here it is. I've added yet another one. I can save this and show you that this is the way, and this is a bug that I have found. I don't know if it's a bug or if I'm doing something different, and maybe someone in the chat can tell me if it's a bug or if I did it wrong. But you'll see I went through and did all of these, and it didn't save it at all. And when I created these other 3, it did exactly the same thing. I went in, did all these changes. It was wonderful. And then when I click save, it did not save the title. It didn't save that I wanted to be collapsed. It didn't save any of that. and you just saw that example there. But now I went back and redid it, and it saved it, my options. So if you're experiencing that bug, then let us know in chat or in the comments. Or hit us up on the socials. Remember, we are 365 MCS on all the socials, on Twitter, Instagram. We need to post there today, Darrell. LinkedIn, we have a page of 365 Message Center Show. Please follow us on LinkedIn. We'd like to do some really cool stuff on LinkedIn, so follow us so we can do that as well. And make sure you hit the like button down below, the thumbs up button, right? And click the subscribe, and then nudge just slightly that bell, just a little bit with your shoulder. Just go boop, so that you get reminders when we go live. But going back to our frequently asked questions, now you'll see as I scroll, it's kind of cool. Yeah, hey, I can tell it's a frequently asked questions because I added this wonderful title, this headline up there. But I can now see those answers. And yes, these answers are very small, very short. But think about this as, if you can have a frequently asked questions with lots of information, yeah, it probably wouldn't be great to have that all on the page all at once. A collapsible section makes total sense here.
One thing I do with collapsible sections is I expand maybe one of them by default on low, just to give people a hint as to say, sure, these are sections and there's information underneath there. Here's something that you might want to look at, and feel free to click the others. Do you use that trick, Daniel?
I do, yes.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that is the show in terms of content. We want to thank everyone for turning up and being so lively in the chat and sharing their opinions and thoughts. It's been really good to have you. Daniel, was there any parting thoughts about this week, next week coming up? There is Microsoft Ignite coming up in about a month's time. We always seem to see a quieter period in the Message Center leading up to that, because product groups like to save all the goodies to be able to talk about and share.
And there's going to be some. There's going to be some goodies. So most certainly, I would anticipate some of the, the frequency of the Message Center kind of slowing down. However, we have also seen that Teams is a product group that is not afraid to go ahead and throw stuff in there. I don't believe we're going to have a slow and maybe even weeks with nothing. I don't think that's true, but most certainly we can have some slowdown.
Definitely. Well, again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Daniel's giving you the nudge about following us on socials. So we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.